forget to turn on the microphones. Did you press record?
I did, and we're recording.
We were supposed to print this out, by the way.
Hello.
Hello.
And welcome to our show. This is episode 1. What have we done? I'm Eric.
Man. Let's just try it. Let's see.
Let's try it.
Let's try it. Let's try it out. We're trying it out.
Okay.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of drinking. Ask that again.
What are we here to talk about today, Hannah?
We're talking about what have we done? What have we done?
So, for those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, obviously this is episode 1, but maybe we've done 100 of these and you're just going back to the start. The whole point of this is to share a little bit more of our journey and for the people out there to get an understanding of what it's like to try and build up a career, not only entrepreneurially on your own, but with your spouse.
What it feels like to make a giant change in your life together for the sake of your family, for the sake of happiness and mental health and stability and all that good stuff.
Mental health is a funny one.
Mental health. We'll talk about it after, yeah.
Yeah. So the purpose of today is really we're going to be talking about what we've done, why we did it, how it's going.
And who are we? Who are we? Who is Eric?
I still don't know.
Who am I?
I'm figuring it out.
Yeah.
You figuring you out?
Yes.
You want me to write out what you are and then you'll write out what I am and then we'll figure out what we are together?
We'll do that as a what do you call it? Skit?
Yeah, not a skid. It kind of all started when we were living together, when we first moved in together. And one of those really cool things that we thought we were going to do is once a week we would do a special kind of date night where we would pick a cool recipe and we would cook it for ourselves. Best tomato sauce ever. Biggest mess we have ever seen in a kitchen. When you follow a chef's proper technique, expect not to keep your kitchen clean. So needless to say, we enjoyed the meal. We did not enjoy the hour that it took to clean or the several weeks thereafter where we found tomato sauce like bending corners and somehow finding a way to open up cabinet doors and land in between dishes and whatnot. And we figured we're never going to make this again. And then fast forward, we have kids. We move into our first home together. And we want to cook for our kids. We want to do things that is going to be healthy, nutritious, stuff that we put our hands on, something that we can feel proud of. And sure enough, when you have kids crying and whining and not really noticing what's going on in life, except for why, where's mommy, where's daddy, you forget what's on your stovetop a lot, and that caused a whole bunch of disasters. Couple that with the stresses of work-life balance and how difficult it is to actually have time with your family. Eventually just came to a point of there's got to be something that we can do about this. So we came up with Splatterdome, and we spent how many years?
3.
2 + 1 with a little bit of
several prototypes and design alterations and all of the back and forths and the learning and the emails and
market testing.
Yeah. About 3 years.
Mm-hmm. And here we are, a success story. But we're working on it.
Not yet.
Yeah. We're very proud of what we've done. We're very proud of what we're trying to accomplish, and that's what this is all about, to talk more about it. So without further ado, Anna, you're the one that really kickstarted all of that. So why don't you share your experience, and I'll fill in whatever gaps might be there.
So I started this end of 2019, really, when I left my corporate job, which was, I was in that industry for a decade, just over, and it started well, but the more I was in it, the more I hated it, and the more I was in it, the more I was not around. So at the end of 2019, I left, and COVID hit. So yeah, exactly. So the world shut down, and I was trying to get this thing off the ground, get the production going, while being at home. Kids weren't home because schools were shut down. Eric was still at the office. And it was just like a complete shit show. Like it was probably the most difficult year for me in my life, from what I can remember. But yeah, it was honestly just like learning everything and trying to figure out how to succeed on Amazon. And at that time, it felt like everybody was just drop shipping. So you entered a kitchen space on Amazon and you literally had all of China in there as well, and you could not compete with the prices, and you could not compete with the marketing, and you could not compete with the knowledge. My background has nothing to do with marketing or anything along those lines, and neither is Eric. So it was literally just like operating
Corporate compliance, financial planning.
blind. Yeah, but it was really, really tough. It was building something from scratch that I've never done before, and it was completely outside of my comfort zone. But we managed to launch on Amazon, so it was our proof of concept, and it was the first 1,000 units. And we launched 2022, right?
No, 2021.
2021. I don't know what year are we? 2020.
2024 just started.
Yeah, well, we did not launch in 2021. We launched in
We did.
2022. Because the Kickstarter was in 2023.
You're right.
So we launched in 2022. And the reason why we did not launch in 2021 was because not only was it COVID, but it was also the shipping crisis, and like everything was pretty much like the world stood still. So 2022 we launched, and it went really well. We sold out of our first 1,000 units with very limited marketing. But it went well, and the feedback was positive. And then we decided,
Can I be honest here?
yeah,
You were the entire marketing campaign. You did all of that research all on your own. We're going to talk a little bit about experts in this space, in any space really. But you did it all on your own. You did your research, you watched your videos, you spoke to people who were supposed to be part of the overall process, who have had some experience in it as well. Praise you for learning so much about it.
but still, it was a team effort. No, but it's true. Like for every pilot, there's a co-pilot. So I was a pilot, he was a co-pilot.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, we decided to evolve, and we decided to come up with the larger size.
Yeah, so that came after the first 1,000 units,
After
right?
1,000. Well, we decided like while we still had inventory, obviously, but
And I think we did that because it was going well, and because the feedback was going
Yeah.
well.
yeah.
And we knew that.
And
we
it was
had
always
to.
the plan.
Yeah.
It was always the plan.
Yeah, exactly. So it was one of those situations where we just thought, I thought, if we already did 1,000 units of the smaller version and we learned some stuff, we made very, very small changes. And to be fair, I don't think we needed to make any of those changes. We just wanted to make, if we could make one more thing a tiny bit more foolproof, let's do it. So that's kind of what it was. But then adding to that this larger size, we thought, well, this larger size has never existed before, and this is a brand new design for a component of our product, so why don't we launch a Kickstarter campaign? And that's where we really had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. So what did we do? We researched for a while the proper teams to work with, the proper experts in that space, the proper marketing aspects of it, and all that good stuff. And here's one of those things that I think it's really important for anybody who might be watching this and say, I would love to do something like this myself. Whether you want to do it on your own, you want to do it with a friend, a business partner that you've worked with in the past, or a spouse, which is an incredibly amazing endeavor and at the same time an incredibly difficult endeavor because you're blurring a lot of lines in your life.
Yeah.
One of the important things about it is understanding that when you're trying to accomplish things that you're trying to learn while you're going through the process, there are experts and they aren't to be trusted inclusively. Is that a fair way of putting it? We're not saying that people don't know what they're talking about. Everyone knows a process. Like, you know when you learn how to turn on your phone for the very first time and then the phone takes you through steps? It's like that with the human being saying that I've already read those steps, so don't listen to that, listen to me. And I know better because I've helped other people do something that is in the same realm. But it is, you know, every unique idea and every non-unique idea is still different. It's unique in that you can't expect the exact same results no matter what you've expected, no matter what you've done. And I think that that's one of those things where, I mean, like, tell me your thoughts, because I know I pushed it a lot, and we eventually settled on one company that at least told us that they're there to support us through the process based on a whole bunch of competencies and a whole bunch of success stories. And I still remember the sales pitch on the last day, which is, you want this to work, you have to make sure that you don't question us in any way, shape, or form. You just go with exactly what we're telling you to do. That's how you succeed in this. And how that worked out. But please say something about that.
I think in this process, and not just like the Kickstarter process, but also throughout just like starting on Amazon, you're new at this, so you're very gullible, and it's, I guess now I came to realize that's just part of the process. And it's just a lesson to learn because you don't trust yourself because you don't know. And I mean, a lot of people, they don't know stuff and then they come and they say, I do know everything. And then that's just a different problem. But you're gullible, you believe what people tell you, and you think that they can offer you a quick solution to something. And whether it's for marketing or crowdfunding or how to do a proper listing or how to start an e-commerce business or how to build a website or like whatever it is, it's just we've gone through so many different experts, and we only are in a relationship right now with like two really, but it was insane. And the amount of money that kind of went to the garbage because we listened, and it's never their fault when something goes wrong, it's always your fault. It's always like you didn't push enough, you didn't have the right assets, you didn't have enough money to spend on your Facebook marketing or whatever else. So I wanted to quit that Kickstarter campaign so many times. Like it was a lot of stress, a lot of tears, and a lot of like arguments, honestly.
Tons.
Talking about blurring the lines between being a couple and being parents and being business partners.
You know, I still remember the time where we went through this process and we were like, okay, we've come this far, we just got to keep going through it. Like, let's get to the end of this process and let's just learn something from it. But it was amazing. Like, you get into it, and it's only after you've already started to pay the bills that people start to tell you it is entirely dependent, especially if you're new, it is entirely dependent on how much money you're willing to throw at it. Like, if you're going to invest X thousand, you will earn X thousand. You're not going to earn more. You're not going to earn different. Which means you're not going to earn, because unless you're making whatever it is that you're making for $0, you are out of pocket with every expenditure that you have. And then on top of that, you have commissions that you have to pay, and then you have marketing budgets that you have to. What do we end up learning? Not just from that.
But a positive twist of this.
Yeah, this is not all about negativity. We're sorry that like there's just so much of that and that's why you got to trust in yourself. This is the point of it. Believe in your gut. Put the work into understanding what you know, what you believe. Research it so that you're not going in blindly. People will lose their homes on going into things blindly just because they believe in themselves. Do the research, do the work. So long story short, with regards to everything that we've tried to accomplish over the last year, and I will, before long story short, last little bit, it was also flabbergasting. Yeah, it's a fun word to use. How many people in the industry crowdfunding from different organizations kind of had the exact same adage. You could have the cure for cancer. If you're not going to spend a bunch on marketing to get people to know you exist, you're not going to be funded. And it was on one of those last weeks, and it was just before the holiday season when we were already launching at a time that was not ideal for crowdfunding, that we were told by the company that we worked with, we recommend you don't launch. So, spending thousands upon thousands of dollars on all of that, and then we ended up looking at each other and saying, that's not going to happen. We are launching. We don't care how it goes. We can do this. So we launched in 2023.
Yeah.
And February, actually. Again, it's not a good time to do a crowdfunding campaign, but we were just not waiting anymore after everything else. And we set ourselves an extremely low target. The way crowdfunding works is, in most circumstances, you either hit your goal or nothing gets done. So, again, with all of that negative support, if you will, that's an oxymoron. All of that negative feedback that we were getting, don't launch. Well, we're launching, so let's at least launch with a really small goal, like a goal that we absolutely knew we were going to hit within the first few hours. So we did. And we did. And same problem, you need people to know that you exist. We ended up working with a marketing firm that specializes in crowdfunding. And while we beat our goal, it wasn't really our goal. It was just that hurdle to ensure that anybody who's going to be a part of your campaign is going to get their product. Because we already made an order. We knew we were going to be doing this. We just thought we would try it this way. And then it went really slow, really hard. And that hurt badly. And then was the swimming, which was the next day when the kids went swimming. You remember that one?
Yeah, it was, you're looking at the number and it was standing still.
Mm-hmm.
And you're supposed to be you're supposed to get a lot of backers within the first 24 hours, and then it kind of supposed to balance itself out. And then it's supposed to go back up because you're supposed to do your final marketing push at the end. And for us, it was very slow first 24 hours. And then it just yes, it was stable, but it was low. This is a disaster. We're not even getting our money back on what we paid to work with that firm that was guiding us through the process.
And then the marketing agency that we went to sent us an email saying, hey, good news, we sent our first newsletter. Boom.
Yeah.
I think we got 500 orders in the next 72 hours, which is pretty amazing. And it really, really brought our confidence back. It just came back to the point of, you got to find different avenues to understand what to do, how to do it. We didn't know what to do or how to do it. So we went to the marketing firms. We went to everyone who claimed to be a specialist. Eventually, we were introduced to a team that claimed they may or may not work with you. Well, they'll work with you, but they're not going to work with you if you sell a sack of marbles. They're going to work with you if you have something inventive and you're trying to figure yourself out, because they're going to make money if you make money. So it works. And it worked. It worked really, really well. And it taught us a lot about the importance of how to present, where to present. The methodology should not necessarily be this way only because an industry specialist tells you that. It has to be all-encompassing until you find the proper niche, and then you focus on that niche as you continue to evolve. And then we did more newsletters. And the more the newsletters that we did, the more people actually paid attention to them, rather than scrolling through other things and looking through their cookies and seeing that, oh, there's an advertisement for something that I don't even know what it is. And it worked out quite well, wouldn't you say?
After the Kickstarter campaign,
Yeah.
which ended in
March.
March.
And then by the time we got inventory and started sending everything out, and we wanted to be as fair to our backers as possible by getting them their units as quickly as possible, and then having a bit of a lull in between, so that now we go e-commerce, because we still have to figure out pricing and all of that good stuff for our regular platform, our e-commerce, our Amazon sales and whatnot.
So April was just fulfillment for Kickstarter.
And May was just fulfillment, and June was mostly fulfillment.
The last of it, yeah.
Yeah. And then we worked with a firm that was supposed to help us with Amazon and website. I think that even if you spoke to them, they would agree. Amazon worked out really well and is continuing to work out really well. Website, not so much. Again, it's a brand that had no socials. Oh, we forgot to talk about that. We don't know socials. We're really bad at it.
Yeah, we're very private people, always were. So we're not one of those like constantly with camera in our faces and filming and shooting everything. So to have to kind of open yourself up to the world and be, what's the word I'm looking for? Be more kind of out there and not be as private as you used to be.
Extroverted?
Be more extroverted. Thank you. Thank you.
Smash that like button!
But going back to last year, Amazon went really well. Our website, which we now have, it was okay, not as good as Amazon. And then we got a couple of really strong pushes from media.
Yeah. Media and an influencer.
Yeah.
Or two.
Yeah.
Which is a bigger part of the overall process, and that's not what today is all about. Today is about the explanation that there is a journey, and expect that there will be a whole bunch of ups and a whole bunch of downs and a whole bunch more downs than ups until it kind of inverts itself. But yeah, that's kind of what it's been about. And then, taking advantage of those pushes.
Yeah. So quality over quantity in those relationships.
Mm-hmm. Why did we do this? Because at the end of the day, what was more important? Doing it for a corporation that may or may not remember your name when you're gone, or for the things that matter most in our lives?
Was that an actual question? Or was that a rhetorical question?
You and I, we know the answer, but let's make sure that the world knows.
Yeah, so obviously
Whoever is willing to watch this video knows.
So obviously the goal is to have the life that we envision for us and to be able to give our kids the time and the attention that they deserve. There aren't many more things that make us proud than to be able to pick them up from school and to be there for their school events and field trips and all that stuff.
Sports stuff.
Yeah, like we'll take them to extracurricular activities, which we weren't able to do before because we would have to send them to aftercare.
Yeah. Helping them with homework.
Yeah, helping them with homework. Just like
teaching them activity, like
doing nothing with them or just like spending time outside or whatever it is. But we're very fortunate to be able to do that now. And not to say that owning your own business is like what you see on social media where people do kind of a day in my life, and for especially like for women, I find it's just so common. It's like you wake up early and then you have your like 2-hour workout, and then you take your 5-hour shower, and then you have your like face and makeup routine, and then you go get your nails, and then maybe you get 30 minutes worth of work, and then like your day's done.
And what do you do with the rest of the 48 hours?
Yeah, but it's just, it doesn't work like that. We're still like the difference really between owning your own business and then working for somebody else is that you probably will be working the same amount of hours, if not more. But the thing is that you can now adjust your schedule and you can dictate when you do the things that you do, right? So sometimes we still have to work when the kids come home, but for the most part, like we kind of drop everything and spend time with them.
And then when they go to bed, what are we doing? We're working.
We're working.
We wake up early. We
Yeah.
get work done before they get up. We work. We do what we got to do so that we can have a good life with our kids, with our families. We can teach good lessons. And 2023 was an exceptionally experimental year to teach us whether or not this could work. And, as we said at the beginning of all of this, we don't yet know. But what we do know is we're at least on the right track to believing that it can.
Yeah, and we definitely want to show them that it's more important to do what you love than to just do. And we're raising them to not really cap their dreams, as ridiculous as they may come across. But we're definitely not the kinds of parents who expect their kids to like finish their life in an office somewhere, um, or be a doctor or lawyer, something along those lines.
Guaranteed that's going to come up in future podcasts
For
because
sure.
I know that we both look at our lives now, and even though we're very proud of what we're doing right now, we both think that had we been guided differently, we would have been somewhere else. Now hindsight's always 2020, but
Yeah.
would we have been doing something completely differently, and would we have been happy with that without ever having thought about changing our careers? Yeah, maybe. Absolutely, maybe. I mean, again, hindsight, yes, but that's the whole point, is it's those life lessons and it's those opportunities to not just teach our future, but to teach our equals, to be clear about life and to make sure that if you are working towards a path, stick to the path, stick to it intelligently, and be ready to make the right decisions for yourself, whatever they may be.
And remember that every journey is different. And don't let other people's stories necessarily, as wonderful as they may sound, just cloud your judgment, because we've done that, especially on the crappier days where you're reading somebody's success story and then you kind of dig into it a little bit more and you realize, well, this like 20 something year old was born with a silver spoon in their mouth and they have parents who were able to invest in their business. So like no wonder he drives a Maserati now, right? Or like somebody's making a success story based on a family's last name, like stuff like that. So every journey is different. Every journey has and will have its own results. It will have its own challenges and successes. And
What's 2024 like for us?
few more products, more social media, this podcast, which hopefully is going to inspire or at least be entertaining enough to listen to. What else? What else do we have?
We're going to tap some new markets. At least we're going to try to tap some new markets. We're going to find different ways to evolve efficiently, hopefully. And as you said, this podcast is going to be a lot more along the lines of let's be ourselves, let's be funny, let's be quirky, especially me. But let's also, not forget where we came from. We don't want this to be one of those situations where even those silver spoon babies, guaranteed they had ups and downs, and they talk about their ups and downs, but that's as far as the conversation goes. I had my ups and downs, and now I'm driving a 6-figure car, living in my mom's basement.
What is with that voice?
That's the voice. That's how you talk about success. When you wake up at 4:30, you meditate for 8 more hours. And if you're snoring, that just means it's working. Then your mom gets you out of bed when she comes home for lunch. You work out, you spa, you exfoliate. You get work done by picking up the phone and posting on social media. You get your friends to come over and they film on your phone. And when it's all said and done, you have 1 million followers.
Wow.
So,
That was a hot babe. Good job.
thanks. Hope you guys stick with us, and hope you give us some pointers on what you want to hear about, because this is not about us. This is about all of us. So let's have some fun with it.